We will go ahead and share with you some exciting things from Phase 2 and Phase 3 when they arrive. An easy way to remember, first of all, let me say this. Our phases are not in alignment with the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We're already in Phase 1 with the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Healthy to Work. We will begin our Phase 1 next Sunday. An easy way to remember our phases: Phase 1 is May, Phase 2 is June, and Phase 3 will be the month of July. So real easy to kind of, for now, to kind of keep track of all that. But Phase 1, here's kind of the guidelines here, and we brought in a senior adult that you might be a little familiar with that can kind of give you a good piece of advice here in just a second. But Phase 1 begins this coming Sunday, May the 24th and May the 31st. There's still 2 Sundays left in the month of May. Based upon the guidelines, we can only have 33% in our auditorium. So we'll be able to have around 100 with the praise team, tech team will be in that 125 range. But so we'll be about 100, 125 total in the auditorium. Social distancing will be still very strict. We have arranged the seating in the auditorium. We've taken every other row out. There's 6 feet between the rows. We're going to have households sit together. There will be chairs spaced in between each household, 3 chairs. And so there will be social distancing practiced across the board as far as the auditorium is concerned. So maximum group size, 100, 125. Social distancing is strict. And for our vulnerable population, and we're identifying them as groups in that 65 or older range. I know some of you are not going to want to hear this, but from your pastor's heart, I want to encourage you to please stay at home during Phase 1, okay? We're not going to run you off, but we really don't want to see, I really do want to see you, but just for safety and precaution, and we're going to err on the side of safety, we want to encourage our senior adults, 65 and over, our senior saints, if you would stay at home, and we're still going to be live streaming. We're going to move that up to 9:30. You might need to write that one down, but 9:30 instead of 9:45, and we'll tell you why here in just a few minutes. But I wanted to ask Dad to kind of talk to our senior adults just for a second.
I get to represent the old and gray.
I was noticing a little bit today about the psalmist said in Psalm 71 this, when I'm old and gray, oh God, forsake me not. And as I thought about that, I remember something that the preacher said this morning. I want to clarify that because he said that he is middle-aged. And so that means he's going to be 110. Isn't that wonderful to hear that? He's going to be 110 when he passes on to the Lord. But true, I wanted to share a little bit with you about some of the statistics. Maybe you've probably heard all these things, but it's important just to get it in our mind too. I looked at it was New York City I looked at this afternoon, and they had 50% of the people who died of COVID-19 were 75 and older. And then the group from 65 to 74, 25% more. So 75% of the people, as the pastors mentioned, from 65 and up. Now, you can have some other issues. They could be not just age, but you could have some other illnesses. Like myself, I have a little start of COPD already, and I know that people have heart issues or different things that would prevent them anyway from being here. So we wanted to make you aware of all those things. And then also in the United States of America, in the last 3 months, there have been, the average age of dying of corona was 75. So, it is in the elderly. We know the nursing homes, we know places where there's large groups of people that are confined, there's a problem. So the pastor's already said it, stay home. Jan and I are going to stay home at least those first couple of weeks, and we'll see what the Lord does in the meantime when we get to the next phase. And I know what that looks like. I don't even know myself yet, but I am grateful. So you wait, if you're in those age brackets, and you wait for Phase 2 or Phase 3. We'll get updates along the way, I'm certain of that. We got lots of things. Pastor's already mentioned several things that are happening, and I just asked him today about a new 5-minute devotion Monday through Friday that would be at the end of our life group student books. There's a 5-day devotion. So I'm going to do one of those on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and just about 5 minutes is all. But just a little thought, and that way we can tune in and communicate. And communication is what we're missing. We don't get those hugs and kisses, we don't get that, and I know everybody is in dire need of that. I represent that, and my wife especially, she's the hugger, and she's missing that.
I would recommend you just get kisses from her.
Okay. Gotta watch that, right? But anyway, yeah, it's, I just wanted to say, that we love you, and, we're praying for you, and we're looking forward to one day that we will be able to
Well,
assemble together.
a few things, once again, as far as, we're asking you on May 24th and May 31st, our senior adults, please stay home. All right, mom and dad will be there, and if you, not just our senior adults, but as he mentioned, if you have any underlying health conditions, I want to encourage you to stay home. Yes, we want to see you, and we'd love to have your smiling face out there. I preach a little better when you're here. And we love our senior adults, and matter of fact, to be honest, our senior adults, they're very active in the ministry of our church. And if Jesus tarries his coming, we need you around here. We got more work to do, all right? And so let's take some time to just kind of be careful over the next few weeks. Phase 2, it still really is recommended to stay home for the vulnerable population. And then phase 3 is when we're going to begin using some discretion. But we'll talk more about that later. Thanks, Dad. All right, as
Your brother wants to know when Frank's Donuts is gonna be, what phase that's in.
all right, what phase is Frank Donuts in? I don't know, but it's not in phase 1, 2, or 3. We have talked about the coffee and the donuts. We may get to coffee by phase 3 is what we're thinking, is what we've talked about. Seriously, we've every stone has been unturned, and we've talked about coffee and donuts. I was for the donuts, but I got voted down, so we just have to wait. All right, let's talk about phase 1. Let me give you kind of what it's going to look like. Now we're going to change our start times to what, Kurt?
9:30 and 11.
All right, 9:30 and 11. And why are we doing 9:30, Kurt?
To allot for more time to sanitize the seats so that you don't get the corona.
All right. Now we're praying for the Lord to work through this
Yes.
situation, but we're also praying for another miracle. Do you remember this miracle? We're praying that somehow, it's going to hurt my feelings if anybody puts any laughing emojis on our little, but we're praying somehow that we're going to keep our services to what?
To 45 minutes?
No, we're doing every bit of 50 minutes, all right? And we're Grace Baptist Church, so surely I get 5 or 10 minutes of grace, right?
5.
5 minutes of grace. But anyway, we really are. We're going to move our beginning of our services at 9:30, and we're going to try to keep it for sure within an hour. But where our goal is 50 minutes to try to get our services. You say, why are we doing that? So that between times, when the first service ends to the second one, that when that group, the first group leaves, Brother Dan is working hard on putting a sanitizing team together. And so they will go through the restrooms, they'll go through the entry, they'll go through the chairs, and we'll do a quick sanitizing of our auditorium for the next group. Now, that tells me this. We've also, if you come for the second service, and by the way, I know it seems here lately our first service has been the larger of the two when we were before the corona. But we're going to need many of you still to come for the second service so we can balance everything out. If you come for the second service, before you get out of the automobile to come in, we ask for what?
That you stay in your car until you see the sign. We're going to have a staff of parking lot crew that will have signs, and they're being made. I think, what does it say? It says
Wait for it, wait for
And
it.
then they'll flip the signs, and then it says what?
Come on in.
Slowly.
Slowly, yeah. Nobody, no stampede,
Yes.
please. So I know you're going to be excited to be back to church. But seriously, if you would wait, that would keep from large crowds being in the cafe area or in the foyer. And so kind of just wait till you see the crowd has kind of got out, and then you will see them flip those signs, come on in. And you can, of course, depending on the weather, you can wait outside of your vehicle. But if you'd wait for that, we'd appreciate it so much. Now, all we're doing on campus is worship, okay? There will be no life groups. There will be no children ministry going on Sunday morning. There will be no nursery that will be happening. No D groups. As far as on campus, the only thing that's going to be happening is worship at
9:30 and 11.
all right, so make sure you take note of that. Our midweek ministries, Sunday morning we'll continue to live stream and the midweek stuff.
We have CR on Monday nights at 7 p.m. We have Awana at 7 p.m. on Wednesday nights, and we have just a student ministry on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. And then we have LOL Life Group online on Thursdays.
So, and then Dad's gonna do the little devotion thing that goes right with our life group lessons. It's in the daily discipleship guide. There's 5 little simple devotions for your quiet time if you choose to use those. But we have worked extremely hard at trying to stay connected with our Grace family and to keep you engaged in the Word and keep you posted as far as everything that's going on. So phase 1, that's what it looks like. Now here's what I need to do. We need to spend a little bit of time going over some guidelines, okay? These guidelines may be tweaked a little bit in phase 2, but really they're just about for phase 1 and phase 2 very, very similar. All right, so we already talked about the 2 morning worship services. There will be no child care or nursery. That means in the auditorium, we will have family-style services and seating. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, so you will be you'll be ushered into the sanctuary, obviously, and we are asking that you sit as a family unit, meaning whoever's in your household, you sit together and nobody else. And then we are allotting 3 chair spaces in between each family unit. We've also spaced out the rows, so there's 6 feet in front of you and there's 6 feet behind you as well. And then you'll also be dismissed, think wedding style, as you get ushered into a wedding to sit down, and then you get ushered out, think wedding style seating.
All right. Now, once the auditorium is full, what happens, Kurt?
We've created an overflow down here in the fellowship hall where we are currently, and that will be allotted for those who may not, who say the sanctuary gets filled up and there's not enough space in there. Then we'll ask that you come down to the overflow, which will also be a live feed of the service here as well.
So we can put about, with the praise team and the tech team, about 120, 125 upstairs. And then in the fellowship hall, we can do about another 30, 35, maybe 40. I don't know. We have to double check, kind of see what our capacity is here. But we can put another 30 or 40 people probably in the fellowship hall.
And we're
Now-
also asking for grace with visitors, right?
Yeah.
We know that you're excited to get back, but I think there's a lot of people who have maybe never set foot in a church, or maybe haven't stepped foot in a church longer than you have right now, and maybe they're wanting to come and experience our services. So if you're a regular attender, if you're somebody that's not new to Grace, and maybe we're at our limit, you could be approached and asked to maybe slip down to the overflow and make room for our guests, if you'd be so kind to, and give them some grace and give us some grace in that.
Yeah, we mentioned this with our leadership, deacons and trustees Thursday night. And here's what's really kind of cool, because of live streaming, we have made a lot today, Facebook alone, there was over 1,200 views. And many of those views represent more than one person. Sometimes there's 2 or 3, or like with the Harders and the Brothers, there were 70 or 80. I don't know, something like that.
That's true.
So, but by the way, we miss all you guys.
Yes.
Seriously, we would probably approach some of our regulars, or probably some of our leaders. If we had a guest or guest family show up, we might have somebody come up and say, hey, can we have those chairs for our guests, and we would send you to the overflow. That'd be a great problem to have, by the way.
Yeah.
So we don't know what to expect. There's one thought that people are so ready and chomping at the bit to get out that we could be overwhelmed, which that would be good, for us to be overwhelmed. We'll figure out what to do the following week. We will accommodate. If we have to go to 3 to 4 services, we'll do that. But anyway, we're excited about that. All right, we talked about that. Now, let's talk about the issue that everybody loves to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Face mask, all right? And everybody's already asked me, are we gonna be doing face masks? Yes, we are recommending that everyone wears a face mask. Kurt is so proud of his face mask. He's a John Wayne fan. Make sure you get a, what's it say?
It's probably backwards for them.
But it says, back up, Pilgrim. Anyway, we are asking that everyone wear a face mask. It is strongly recommended, okay? And you say, well, what if I show up without one? Well, we're not gonna turn you away, but we really wanna ask you to do the face mask if at all possible. The praise team, when they're on the platform, and the pastor, because he's speaking, we don't feel that that's practicable for us to sort of wear these as we're ministering, but there's way more than 6 feet between the praise team and the first row. There's probably 15 or 20 feet. And so one of the things they talked about in the guidelines was being careful during singing. And they requested, if you're going to sing, 6 foot distancing, which we do have, and the face mask. Now, speaking of face masks, we've had 2 or 3 ladies, the Harders, Harriet, Joanna. So I'm going to miss somebody. I probably shouldn't have started. But anyway, we've had several ladies and people that have been making face masks just to give to our Grace family when they show up. And so we have a limited supply of these. We don't have enough for everyone. Many of you, like Kurt's, already invested in one. But we'll have some of these that we'll hand out, and as long as they last, we'll give them out. We have some that look something like this. This is a makeshift, I mean, it is a true face mask, but I didn't want to tie it back, so I just kind of made it wrap around my ears. But we have some of these coming in June, but once again, I mean, they're not going to last very long. And so we will have some face masks available if you do not have one, and all you have to do is ask, and we'll have those readily available for you. I miss anything on the face mask? And once again, I know this is a little controversial, and there's some people that have strong feelings either way. Once again, we're just going to err on the side of safety. And let's just be kind to one another, and we'll get through this. We'll get through this together. All right, very
And I think you always state this to the staff, and you live this out too as well. Be wise as a
serpent
and harmless.
as a dove.
Yes.
So, very good. All right, now speaking of something else that they asked, we will have plenty of sanitizing. We'll have some we got some stations. Everything is, as you probably know, is on back order. We got some on hand. We've got more coming in the month of June, but we'll have plenty of these. Some of the big jugs of the hand sanitizer. So we'll have plenty of that that's taking place. Sanitizing stations. Once again, we also want to ask everybody to enter the front doors, okay? Do not come in the green awning. We want you to come in the front doors. And once again, as Kurt mentioned, we're going to have it kind of directing you, funneling you into the auditorium. And once you get in there, we'll give you a little bit more instruction to try to remain seated until the service. Restrooms will be open, but to use them minimally. So if you could take care of that before you come would be wonderful, but I understand that sometimes it hits you, you gotta go, man. And so they will be available, and we will have people stationed at the restrooms to sanitize as they come out and go back in there, and they kind of wipe down the handles and that kind of stuff. Now when we dismiss, you can go out the awning doors downstairs if you choose to do that, or you can go out the other. We can go out separate ways, but we all want to come in the front doors. Offerings. What about offerings, Kurt?
We have offering boxes that are placed as you come up the ramp, if you're familiar with our building. And then we also have an offering box in the back of the auditorium, and then we will have offering plates on a table too as well as you exit the auditorium. And then you also have online giving through our website, online giving through your bank, and then you can also mail it into our P.O. box as well.
Very good. But if you want to bring your offering, drop it off. We've got offering boxes. That one at the ramp won't be there Sunday. We're going to move those into the auditorium. So they'll be on the back wall like where you would normally exit by both sets of those wooden doors, there will be one's back ordered. But we already have one that's arrived. There'll be an offering box there, and then there'll be a table that looks maybe like this with our offering plates. We'll have a trustee standing next to those, and you can just walk by and put your envelope in that way if you choose to do so. But we will not be passing offering plates. Once again, just every little thing that we can do to make things just a little bit safer. We will continue, and I want to thank Kurt. I want to thank our tech team and everybody that's, and it's not just pastoral staff. I mean, with the Awana group that's jumped right in there, and everybody that's just jumped in to make ministry available and to accommodate. We're going to continue that online presence. Our tech team has done a wonderful job in bringing our ability. It's 10 times better, and so we thank them for that. That's phase one. Am I missing anything on protocols?
I don't think so.
All right, and as many of you are, I mean, I love our church. Be patient with us, and like
This is your second time doing this, right?
this is my third pandemic.
Oh, third.
Not really. This is my first one, okay? And so this is our first pandemic. Be patient with us, and it may change from 1 week to the next. We'll keep you posted the best we can by social media, emails, and whatever else we need to do. All right, so that's phase one. All right, that's really what you need to just be concerned about. And we're going to send you one of these that will have phase one, phase two, and phase three. All of it is susceptible to change if things change outside these four walls, but I'm praying and trusting that God's going to bring us right through this. Let me tell you what phase two is. Phase one is the month of May, and phase two is the month of June. The first Sunday in June is June 7th. Worship services still at 9:30 and 11. They also will still be live streamed. It'll still be at 1/3 of the capacity, so none of that changes at all. Life groups will not be happening on Sunday morning, just worship only. There will be a staff nursery during phase two. All right, so we have a place to put your babies during phase two. Phase two with kids ministry, we begin on June 14th.
Correct.
Which is the second Sunday. Why are we doing the second Sunday? You remember?
Because we are allotting by that time, the guidelines for childcare should be out by the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And we will take those same guidelines and we will practice those in our children's ministry here, as such as daycares will be required to as well.
All right. So that's when daycare is open. So daycare is open on the 15th. Sunday is the day before the 15th. So on the 14th, we will have small groups for our boys and girls. So phase two, nursery becomes available immediately, June 7th. The second Sunday, don't worry about remembering it, it's all going to be on here. We begin the small group. So if you have boys and girls that want to go to their Bible study, and we'll be social distancing in there the best that we can, that we won't put a whole bunch of kids in one little tiny room. We'll spread them out the best we can with the teacher, but they can go to their life group during the hour that you go to worships. Now, we are going to begin our D groups in phase two. Now, we've come up with a really neat plan for that. There are a few D groups that meet off campus, but on a regular routine Sunday night before any of this happened, we had 16 D groups meeting on campus. 16. So there's no way we can do that and still kind of maintain protocol. So we're going to only have 8 of them meet on a Sunday night. Okay? So on the first Sunday night of June, we'll have 8 meet. And then on the second Sunday night of June, we'll have the other 8 meet. All right? And we're doing this for a couple reasons. Number one, we have 8 large spaces, like the fellowship hall, the gym, the cafe. Can put a couple of them in the auditorium, where we'll set up tables and you'll be able to social distance easily in your D group. But also, do you remember the other reason we went with the 8?
Child care.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, what does Kurt know about child care? But go ahead and explain that.
Yes, so the thought is that For example, I have Jerry Muir in my D group, and then Courtney Muir is also D group leader. So those two groups would alternate on weeks, so the parent would be able to stay home with the kid, vice versa. That way, it's not a burden on the parents for childcare, etc.
All right, so we don't have to worry about the child care, which we're looking forward to getting our children's sing group back up and going when we're beyond all this, but that eliminates one other issue that we gotta deal with, and the parents can kinda maintain the kids at home, and the other one can be here for a D group. So that's phase 2, and now the midweek ministries during phase 2 are going to change just a little bit. We have CRs on Monday night, we have the kids program on Wednesday night, we have student ministry on Wednesday night, and we have life group on Thursday night. How is that gonna change, Kurt?
So those are all what I like to call 50-50. We're still going to be, obviously, live stream is not going away whatsoever. That's here to stay at Grace going forward because.
Oh, yeah, the midweek stuff will still all be live streamed as well.
Yeah, but what's going to happen in phase 2 is you'll have the ability to come and sit in on those live streams as well and have a live presence. So with kids ministry, with GS1 City, with all the midweek ministries, we are going to do limited capacity, just like we are going to be practicing in our services for those. So you'll have the choice. If you're not comfortable yet with coming back, you still have the opportunity to watch online. But if you're ready to get back and you feel comfortable with all the protocols that we're taking, then you can come and sit in live on that.
All right, so limited capacity. I know CR is chomping at the bit, rightfully so, and small groups is such an integral part of their ministry, but we're just not gonna be ready during phase 2 for small group unless they do some outdoor stuff, and Eddie will be getting with CR leaders about that, which is a strong possibility. But they'll be doing the large group in the auditorium, and they can still do up to like 100 people in there for their large group. And so, once again, we'll be following social distancing in there. We're asking for the CR people to please wear a mask. There will be sanitizing stations, the whole 9 yards. And then what's kind of cool on my Thursday night, one of the things I've had a hard time adjusting to on Thursday night. Sunday, I mean, it's difficult preaching to kind of a empty auditorium, but it's not completely empty. I mean, the praise team is there, and if anybody needs preaching to, you know what I'm saying? The praise team needs, I mean, Olin's there for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? So we've got Olin, I got Dr. McKinney, and we got Gail McMillan. They all need it. And so we got, and the tech team. I think a couple of them need to be saved. But anyway, we love you guys. But seriously, there's at least a few faces out there. Well, Life Group Online, it's just me and Kurt. And so it is a little hard to get used to doing Life Group like that. But during phase 2, we're going to have about 20 or 30 people probably in here with me. So I'll have people I can interact with during the life group event. So there will be limited capacity on all these things that are still taking place on Monday night, Monday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. So just pay attention to that, and looking forward to that. All right, and once again, during phase 2, with our vulnerable population, 65 and older, or those with underlying health issues, we're still recommending what?
That you stay home and watch live.
Yeah, and
I love
once,
you guys.
we really do. I love our senior adults, but we're just going to err on the side of caution. And once again, we're not going to run anybody off, but we just ask that you would just be safe. Because, like I said, if Jesus tarries his coming, we need you here at Grace. You're an important part of our ministry. All right, that brings us to phase 3. All right, phase 3, it is going to change a little bit. Phase 1 is the month of
May,
phase 2 is the month of
June,
and phase 3 is the month of.
July.
See, that's what happens when you hire people from Ohio. It just happens. So that's all right. We'll get through this. All right, phase 3, we change the group size. All right. So and by the way, we don't know what phase 3 looks like in the Commonwealth because they haven't come out with it. So we're just kind of projecting, if things continue to kind of progressively get better, minimally what that would look like. So we feel like probably the next jump up is from a third capacity to at least
50.
half. And so we will increase our numbers as far as the 9:30 and the 11 a.m. worship service. We'll go to 50% capacity. Once again, we will be doing safety protocols, and depending on how things are looking, these things might not have to be as prevalent at that time. But then again, we may still need to do the mass for a month or so more. We'll see how that goes. All right, so worship services at 9:30 and 11. Everything from now on until Jesus comes, by the grace of God and with the help of God, we're going to have a strong online presence. So that's one of the things the Lord's taught us through this. So we'll still be live streaming, okay? But we'll have live services 9:30 and 11. Life groups begin back on campus 8:30, 9:30, and 11. Now we've tweaked a time there, once again, because of our transition problem, but we'll explain how that we're going to do that, start times and all that. But we will also be social distancing. Dad was up here a few minutes ago. Their class meets in a breakout room off the student center, and they normally have how many in there, Kurt?
30 to 35.
30 to 35, and it's packed, okay? Well, you're not going to be able to meet in that room, all right? So we're in phase 3. We're going to have to put you in a location where you're spread out, because we're still going to do social distancing in phase 3. So you may have to meet in a different location, but we are going to begin life groups up, and most of them meet in, especially adult life groups and the youth.
Yeah.
They meet in spaces where we can do that. We're very fortunate to have that extra space. Nursery and kids ministry will be underway with their life groups, which actually got started in phase 2, and the hub, Children's Church, will crank back up in phase 3. Okay, so that'll begin, once again, social distancing. And then D groups in phase 3 will still be going 8 the first Sunday night, 8 the second Sunday night. So if you're in a D group, you're either going to be meeting the first and third Sunday night, or the second and the fourth Sunday night, is how we're going to be doing that. Tell us about, you remember what were our changes for CR on Monday night in phase 3?
So that's when we're going to roll out the small groups for them as well. So they're going to be able to meet in their small groups again. And then also just being online. Once again, online's never going away. And then that will look a whole lot different. Midweek ministries will in July, hopefully.
Yeah. Now with CR in phase 1, 2, or 3, we're going to do no meal prep in our building. Okay, so now, as we were meeting with our deacons, trustees, leaders, and some pastoral staff Thursday night, we had a couple of them said, "Hey, Pastor, let Eddie know that if we could help prepare some food down at the pavilion on one of those nights, and you guys want to kind of meet down there for a meal." Of course, that's susceptible to weather, and that I get all of that. But if you want to do some of those on before, you know how you do that, I think it's 5:30 or 6, they do a meal together, large group and then small group. And in phase 2, the possibility of some small groups outdoors, okay? But in phase 3, you'll be doing small groups indoors. So everything will be happening with CR, social distancing on Monday nights in phase 3, except the meal, unless we're doing that outside. Oh, I can't believe it. We've got great ideas. Great ideas for children's ministry and Vacation Bible School.
Yes.
All right, tell us about June, first of all. Remember?
What's in June?
June is the Awana's coming to an end in May.
Yes.
And then in June, who's going to head that up?
I don't know. You got me.
Daniel Eugene,
Oh,
brother.
Yes.
How did you
Yes.
forget Dan?
Yes.
So Dan has come up with a great curriculum. There's going to be there's 4 Wednesday nights in
Yep.
June,
Yep.
and he's got different teachers and trying to get as many of our children's ministry people and personnel plugged back in as possible. Because I know you're chomping at the bits. And also in June on Wednesday night, kids will be allowed to come with
Their parents.
their parents, all right? Now, no bus ministry at all this summer, all right? So we're not running buses and putting kids in those little confined areas and bringing them here. That's not happening. But starting in June, we have a 4-week, just a summer fun series. They're going to get a Bible lesson, and they're going to have fun here, and games, and everything centered around lessons from God's Word. You can come with your kids. Once again, limited capacity. But I mean, it'll be happening in the auditorium, not in the hub, be in the auditorium. It will be live streamed.
Yeah.
It'll still be live streamed. But there'll be kids and you parents, you'll have to come in the auditorium and sit with your children, okay? We'll still be doing the household thing. So brothers and sisters get to sit together. And they're going to be so excited about it. Not. But anyway, we're going to be doing that in June. And having lots of fun with that. But let us tell you about the Vacation Bible School. All right, we're going to do something just out of necessity. But when we started talking about this and all of the creative juices started flowing, we got really excited about it. If there's anything, and we've not arrived in any area of ministry of our church, but if there's anything that we're known for at our church, probably is one of the things is our Wild Game event and Vacation Bible School in our community. And we're going to be able to take our Vacation Bible School outside these 4 walls.
Yes.
And if there's a silver lining in all this, I think that's it. When people can get plugged into kind of what's happening with Vacation Bible School. VBS will be a virtual VBS with limited capacity as well. And it'll be taking place over 5 Wednesday nights during the month of August.
Yes.
And the way that'll look, we're going all out just like we always do. The auditorium will be decorated for the theme. You remember the theme?
Something about an island.
Mystery Island.
Mystery Island.
Mystery Island. And so we'll be doing Mystery Island. We're going to have a sharp lesson. I don't know if it's Jim and Ethan. I'm sure they'll be doing something. And I don't know who else is teaching or if there's anybody else teaching. But we will not be doing the breakouts. We won't have we'll have some games in the auditorium, but we won't go outside for game time. We're not going to have a room that you go to and make a cool craft this time. We're not going to have snack time, but never fear. Tell us what's going to be happening with all that, Kurt.
I don't know.
The crafts.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
your idea.
Yeah, that's right. The craft to go. We're gonna have. We're not gonna let your kid go home empty-handed, or without some sugar. So we'll have some goodie bags that they can take home and still participate in that VBS feel, and not only have it here, but also have it at home. And also with the live stream, your kid's gonna probably be able to be on video and then go home and want to watch the live stream. So they're not only gonna get VBS, but they're gonna get it 2 times, maybe 3 times throughout the week, because they're going to want to go back and watch the episode. So it's gonna be
Now, VBS will be limited capacity as well. We can't put them in our building like we had before, like sardines. And so, but what we're going to do to allow for more space for the kids, and by the way, we'll be in phase 3, is we're going to let the kids, and we'll try to do our best in social distancing in the auditorium with them. We'll have teachers, some of our helpers, our typical VBS leaders will be in the room to kind of help us kind of keep crowd control there. But the parents will be able to go in the student center, just off the auditorium, and we'll have a live feed in there so they can kind of see what's happening. And when VBS is over, they're right there to pick up their kids, and they can go home. Now, if we have a huge registration, what's our game plan there, Kurt?
So if we have a huge registration, then what's going to happen there is, first off, we're obviously for the limited capacity, we are going to limit it, and then we are going to allow you to, if you came 1 week and there's a mass surplus of kids who want to come the next week, then we're going to ask in our registration process that you take that week off and then come back that next week. So throughout the summer, a kid gets to experience it 1 to 2 times throughout the summer live.
Right. And even if we have that problem, once again, that would be a wonderful problem to have. We'll figure out a way. We don't know what we're doing for a grand finale yet, but we've got a phase or 2 before we get there, so we have time to figure that one out. Walda is out of town. We'll be meeting with her and Jim next week as we think about this. But I really think it's got a lot of potential. We'll get every kid will at least get to have 1, if not 2 or 3 nights here with the limited capacity. And let's say my neighbors, Elijah and Jake McKinney. All right, so they live down the road from us. Let's say that they're only able to come to 2 VBS nights. What they could possibly do is have a little watch party at their house
Yeah.
and get the live feed and get some of their friends, maybe a half a dozen or so, and they could do VBS at home that night with mom and dad, check it out, and that kind of thing. So there's the sky's the limit here. We just got to be creative. We're still going to get the gospel out, and we're just looking for. Here's what I think, Kurt. I really think this is a great opportunity for us to get our VBS outside these 4 walls. You know, we have families that are sitting in our church today because of Vacation Bible School.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, and so let's get it outside these 4 walls and let people see how passionate we are about Jesus, the love of Christ, and the gospel, and just trust God to use it. Speaking of, one of the kind of the bummers about and there's plenty of bummers if we want to focus on them about the COVID-19. All camp ministry is off.
Yeah.
That was our call, but not just our call. Camps were canceled.
Yep.
Nobody's doing camps just because of the situation. And so, in some staff planning stuff, we came up with, I think, something really exciting that will be happening simultaneously. The same 5 weeks that VBS is going on upstairs in the auditorium, we're going to rock the house in the gymnasium with the student ministry. Tell us what's going on there, Kurt.
Yeah, so summer tour is going to be happening for the middle school and high school students, and that's going to be 5 weeks, 5 Wednesdays in July, and we are bringing top-notch speakers in. We have a camp budget, and we are going to use it for the month of July on those Wednesday nights. So your team, once again, will be able to experience a phenomenal summer program. We'll be following some protocols to keep your team safe and to keep things at rest there too as well. But we're excited to hang out with your team, and we're excited to get back to ministry as safely as possible, but also as quickly as possible.
All right. So that's phase 3. Now, we just want to kind of let you know of some of the ideas that are out there. We have a hard time keeping it straight, as you can tell. But we got it wrote down in front of us. It helped. You will have the same thing wrote down in front of you. You'll get this on the back of the bulletin this coming Sunday. We're going to mail you a hard copy. By the way, we're going to be launching a new website here real soon,
Exciting.
and it looks really great. This will also be posted to the old one and the new one when it comes out, so you can go on to our website and find. So you'll be able to get your hands on it somewhere. And once again, everything is susceptible to change depending on what goes on outside these 4 walls. But if things progress in the right direction, this is where we hope to be. And then by the start of school, which is still, I think, on for the middle of August, if that begins, we're hoping by the middle of August to kind of be back in the full swing of things at Grace. And I think this is also Wild Game Dinner year, and so looking forward to that. But got lots going on, been working real hard to kind of keep things moving, and we're excited about getting back to church.
Yes.
What's that line again?
We will get back to church. We will get back to church together.
Can we say that just one more time?
I think we can.
All right, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. We will get back to church. We will get back to church together. Thanks for joining us tonight, and didn't mean to overwhelm you with information. All you have to really remember is next Sunday, what time?
9:30 and 11 a.m.
And 11. If you would, bring you a mask to wear. If not, we have some of them on hand, but when they're gone, they're gone. Plenty of sanitizing that'll be taking place. There will be social distancing.
Yeah. And can I say this? There's a lot. We can look at a lot of negatives throughout this, but let's not look at that, right? Let's look at the positives. Let's look at this Sunday. We will meet together. Yes, it'll be social distance, but we will be together.
That's right.
We'll meet together and we'll praise God together and we'll worship together. And we haven't had that in 3 months. So let's rejoice in that. And let's not look at the negatives. Let's be positive. Let's have a smile on our face and a song in our heart. And let's rejoice together in that.
Now here's what Pam and I were talking about this today. The hard part, you're going to see somebody and it's just instinct. we're huggers in Kentucky. We're huggers, and you're gonna wanna go hug somebody's neck, and you're gonna, please don't do that, all right?
My introverted heart loves this, because then I have an excuse now.
There you
'cause I'm
go.
not a hugger.
We have to do air hugs, all right? We can do air hugs or air high fives and those kind of things. And we will have greeters at the front door, but you're not gonna get greeted with a hug or a handshake, but a smile behind the mask, all right? They will be smiling, you'll see it in their eyes, but
In the cheekbones.
in their cheekbones. So, anything else, Kurt?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
All right. Well, I hope this has been helpful. And once again, you got stuff coming to you in the mail. You got stuff coming by way of internet. And we look forward to worshiping with you next Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. God bless, and we will see you there.